Hey there, my meaty friends. This is Reed, aka CarnivorousChef. And before we get started, I want to thank LMNT for sponsoring this video. LMNT is formulated for anyone, but it's a simple and convenient way to replenish our electrolytes. If you're a carnivore, you may already know that your electrolyte needs are essential to keep an eye on. Not only does it taste amazing, but it's also got everything you need and nothing you don't. That means more salt and no sugar. I use LMNT first thing in the morning, even before I've had my coffee. But they've also got a fantastic chocolate flavor line of products that are awesome in a cup of coffee. I also use LMNT right before going into the gym. I can 100% tell the difference when I do use it and when I don't. My output just feels more powerful. Right now, LMNT is offering my audience a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single-serving packets free with any LMNT order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share LMNT with a salty friend. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/carnivorouschef. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/carnivorouschef. Thank you again to LMNT for sponsoring this video. So, here's the story. You've got yourself a big old bird to get ready for Thanksgiving. It's the day of Thanksgiving and you realize you didn't brine the turkey. Or rather, dry brine it, as the kids are doing nowadays. What are you going to do? Well, I think you should do this. If you wake up at 8 a.m., you'll have your turkey ready by noon. Here, I have a 14-pound bird. Take what should be your most important tool for today's adventure and snip the packaging open to drain all of its 8% solution. There are typically big old flaps of skin on the tops and bottoms of these, and I always opt to cut them off. Not into turkey butt. Now, if you're buying packaged turkey like this, you'll need to remove 2 things. The giblet bag, which has the heart, gizzards, liver, etc., and the turkey neck. It actually still has a bit of ice on it, so I had to go fishing. Feel free to save the giblets and the neck to make turkey stock and gravy if that's your thing. I'm going to forego it this time and start with the next important but unsettling step. Create a seam between the breast and the skin to separate it. You could do this throughout the entire bird, but the breast is going to be the most important part. Just be sure it gets separated on both sides. After you've done that, we're going to spatchcock this beast. Go ahead and get yourself a deep pan with a baking rack in it ready to go. To spatchcock, our 2 main objectives are to remove the spine and flatten the chest cavity. Doing this allows for a more even and quicker cook. With your trusty and mighty kitchen knife, cut through these ribs. Here, check out this real professional doing it to a chicken while I struggle to get this done with my giant chef's knife. What you're looking for when cutting through this are the points where the ribs connect to the spine. You see, you can absolutely do this with a massive chef's knife or any knife if you want, but I've always found it much easier just using the shears. I actually tried using the broken ones for the job still for a solid 5 minutes after breaking them. That's how much I wanted to use them. But anyways, our spine is out and now it's time to flatten it. I don't think you have to add a small incision at the top of the chest cavity, but I always do it out of habit. I'm pretty sure you could just flatten it with some pressure. And no, peer pressure won't work here. Now that we have this flattened, we can make our compound butter. Here I have 2 sticks of softened butter. Here I have 2 sticks of softened unsalted butter. If your butter is not softened, you can throw it into a Ziploc bag and bash it with a pan for a few minutes. It'll get soft. To this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of MSG, a little bit of dried rosemary in the amount of a ½ teaspoon, a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme leaves, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, and finally a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh cracked black pepper. Give this the most passionate forking you've ever given to butter. Just use 2 hands if you're going to mix this. The forking can get out of control with 1 hand. Now that it's all nice and mixed together, we can get the fowl assembled, or seasoned. We're going to get the turkey ready. This step is very simple. Grab some butter and place it into our separated turkey skin. You can absolutely do this all over the turkey, but I found that it's most necessary to do this on the breast. It's the portion that dries out the quickest and needs the most flavor. You can also rub the underside down with it as well, but it will melt off eventually. After you've gotten butter slathered everywhere, I seasoned the underside up with about 1½ tablespoons of salt. Then I doused it down with about 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. I flipped it over and repeated this process. And here is where I find to be a crucial step. No, not the turkey wing dance, the rest period. Let the seasoned turkey rest for about 1 hour just to let the salt and butter do its thing. I tend to leave mine out at room temperature while doing this, but feel free to refrigerate yours if you so desire. Now that this has been resting, it's time to put this in the oven. I have my oven set to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and you should as well. This process will absolutely vary. I am using a commercial gas oven with low convection. This means my bird may cook a bit faster than yours. But for a safe time, I'd go with 13 minutes per pound, but also having a meat thermometer nearby to check the temperature. For my 14-pound turkey, I needed to cook it for about 3 hours according to this formula. That wasn't the case for this one, but either way, we do want to remove the turkey halfway through. It's actually got some beautiful color in such a short amount of time, but the temp is letting us know that it's not even close to done. So what we want to do from here is grab some foil and cover it. It doesn't have to be perfectly sealed shut, but it should be on there pretty well. I also highly recommend checking your temperature again in about 45 minutes. I'm shooting for 155 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit internal next to the bone. Mine touched 160 and dropped down to 157, which is fine with me because there's one more step before carving. Temp the turkey with your foil and let this rest for at least 25 minutes. This rest time will allow juices to redistribute as well as let the temp rise a bit more as it is still cooking. All in all, this turkey took me a total of 3 hours and 40 minutes to cook. From prep, to resting, to cooking, to resting again, the only thing this recipe takes is patience and a little know-how. Let's get to carving this, why don't we? I keep my turkey very simple. I separate the leg quarter and the wings. Then I remove the breast by slicing against the middle bone and then following it down until I have it completely taken off. Try your best to keep the skin intact because when you go to portion it, you'll want a bite of skin in every piece. And there it is, a no brine turkey. But is it juicy? I'll let you decide on that. Is it tasty? Yes. Yes, it is. Now I'm going to go share this with the staff who's been staring at me make this for the past 4 hours.